Well, it's been a hard summer. The heat has been incredible. Everything is dry. We haven't had no rain for, I don't know, a couple of months, I don't think. I can't really keep pouring water out the water main to try and help things along. It just, the price of everything has just gone mental. But it's all starting to look a bit bare now, apart from there's some parsnips there that are down 3 foot deep. In behind the rabbit guard are some borlotti beans. They're not very good. There's a few, but not masses. Cabbages hearting up. They're looking nice. That's a bit of a bonus. They should get twice the size of that before we have them out. And next to them was a row of small graffiti cauliflower. They bolted straight away, almost instantly. That's the empty bed where I took the onions out from the other day. I've just literally broken it a little tiny bit. I'm going to give it a good soaking and I'll put some manure on top and let that work back in. And then these two beds here next door are empty as well. Waste time putting anything in there, it ain't going to grow. Not without some water. This is a total disaster of a bed as well. It's all against us, isn't it? Apart from when you get to the Brussels sprouts. Well, the Brussels have now grown on another foot since I raised the netting a couple of weeks ago. They're mental. They really want letting out. I can't because there's cabbage whites about still, and they're laying quite crazily at the moment. There's some big cauliflowers in there that are doing well. Must have caught they just at the right time. And some gigantic red cabbage. I can't remember what these were. I think these just sold as red drumhead, but they're monstrous. If they heart up like they've sent out leaves, they should be huge. This bed's waiting. Got some more brassicas on the way. They can come in here. That's got about 3 inches of manure on it, and even with all that heat, there was still moisture down under the ground with this one. I should repeat that again. People say don't put on manure unless it's well rotted down. Well, this wasn't well rotted down, but it held the moisture in there. It's lovely and moist underneath that lot. That's the bed that the red onions were in. Again, they didn't do fantastic. Some of them went to seed, and that was supposedly heat treated onion sets. I don't know. It's the weather, I think. Half of it is the weather. The celeriac's still going on. Didn't bulking up very much. There's some leeks intersown in amongst them, so that when the celeriac comes out, the leeks can carry on till next spring. Again, I'm not holding my breath with the celeriac. They need water and lots of it. Sweet corn, well, again, it's growing. I'm not sure if it'll do anything. Really not sure. A few little beetroot down there, guarded against the deer, because the deer have decided that the scrubby grass they're eating out in the field ain't good enough, so they're having the tops out the top of these. I've just finished clearing the potatoes out from the buckets as well. So, and there's some broad beans there I've left to go on the seed because we need the seed. And the cardoon, the bees love it, and it don't matter, does it? As long as the bees is happy. Where are we? Let's go up through here. So that was the last 5 buckets of Sarpo Mura. So we've got a 30-litre bucket near on full up with spuds for the 10 little potatoes, and that was the result. So that was a good result. This raised bed, I've got various beetroot, golden boldor and dichogia, because I do like them. I'd rather have them than the ordinary ones. There's a few Chinese cabbages over there. Whether they do anything or not, I don't know. We'll see. And then French runners, French beans, little dwarf Annabelle. Lots of leaf, lots of beans, if you can find them amongst it. There's a row of golden turnips in there. Just crammed them in. They say don't cram them in, but they seem to grow all right. And a row of carrots to finish off that raised bed. They're lovely actually, they're really nice. They're called Sweet Candle. I think it's a one that they actually sell for show stuff, but they taste fantastic, they really do. That's one worth looking out for. Let's go this way. So this is the experimental Japanese winter squash. I put them up on a rail this year because last year a lot of them got eaten underneath by the slugs. So I put them up on this rail. They've grown and they've actually pulled the rail themselves over and down onto the ground. So there's some pretty hefty squashing amongst there, and they're still growing, and there's still more to come yet. In the 3 tubs, apart from the winter squash, there's a courgette in there, big yellow courgette, and this is a butternut squash. I still haven't seen a squash yet, but there must be something in amongst all that foliage. I might thin it back actually later on. And pumpkin and another Japanese squash in there. The compost heap potatoes, the compost heap's dropped by a good half. They're nearly ready to come out, but I'm putting it off. I might do it later on, I don't know. We'll have a look. And excuse the mess, because this is a real garden, not one of those show gardens where people don't do nothing. Right, so that little bed there, I just popped in a few more turnips. There's some brassicas just coming up there. They can go in late, they'll still catch up. Some more potatoes, just a few loose ones. They got to come out in a minute. They've nearly done with. A few leeks in there, filling up spaces earlier on. Oh, and again, look, there's the cardoon. Now these were 2 little experiments that I set up. Late broad beans. Now, for some reason, a lot of the flower heads have been cut off, and I don't know what's cutting them off, whether it's the bumblebees looking for nectar or what it is, but I don't think they're going to produce very much. They might do, might surprise me. And the peas, again, another experiment. Excuse me. Started off in guttering. They're starting to perk up. They've climbed quite a lot. They are doing quite well. There's lots of peas on there, and there's quite a lot more flowers to come, both sides. And then yesterday's project was the tunnel. It's an old cheap Chinese polytunnel frame that I picked up on Free Cycle, and it was brand new, no plastic. Didn't want the plastic anyway, because all they do is blow away. So we repurposed it. We took the lid off of one of our old show gazebos and put it over the top, and then inside, what I've done in here is I've put up some racks for the onions. So sorry about the yellow glow, but that's the top of the gazebo making everything look yellow. But it does mean that I've got the onions in the dry, but the air can still travel around underneath to dry off all the greens. And once they start to dry, they'll go quite quick. So I don't think they'll be out here that long, but yeah, you never know. But anyway, that's a good result, that one. Japanese squash, never have guessed that, would you? Should we go to the greenhouses? Let's have a look. The old greenhouse, can't get in there very well. There's a lot of stuff in there. Japanese squashes, again. More tomatoes than you can shake a stick at. Marigolds, because I like my marigolds. Don't they look lovely? And we've been picking tomatoes absolutely crazily now for weeks and weeks and weeks, and there's still dozens and dozens to come yet. Each one of these are producing about 24 to 26 tomatoes per truss. I think we've done the first 2 trusses, and they're growing right up inside now. They're actually starting to come out of the roof. If you're not careful, you've got a job to get in here, but it is worth it when you get in here. It is absolutely lovely. All that food. And some Swiss chard running along the bottom. Leaves has got a bit big now. I've got to thin them out, but I'll blitz them up and use them for something. Bound to find some use for them. And then the new greenhouse. Again, this is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. First year of being in here. Gherkins, I've run out of how many we've picked up from these 2 plants. They just keep producing and producing and producing. And we've got peppers down there which are being swamped by the marigolds. Didn't do them any good. Too many marigolds. That's a lesson learned for next year. Ridge cucumbers back in the corner. French beans, climbing French beans, cobra, absolutely wonderful. They have gone right up to the roof, and they're actually starting to go out of one of the vents at the top, and they just produce massive beans, and they don't seem to go woody. They stay really nice. There's a Japanese squash. You'd never guess that, would you? There's another one, and he's producing well. More tomatoes, loads of tomatoes, and I'll try and get back in here because this is my favourite corner of the greenhouse actually, if I can get in here. This is a job to get druddle, but here we go. So, Japanese squash, accompanied by melons. We have melons. Never grown them before, and the early ones didn't do anything at all. The flowers didn't fertilise or anything, and there's all this thing online about, oh, you got to fertilise them by hand. I didn't bother. I left nature to it, and it looks like we've had a bit of a result. More tomatoes, yet more tomatoes, and it's crazy. It really is crazy. I love this greenhouse to bits. Anyway, there you go. Quick little tour, and like somebody said, I love your garden, Tim, because you show it warts and all. Well, it is warts and all because that's a real garden. Anyway, don't forget, you can't eat the grass. Keep going at it. See you later.